This is a clip from the Cannon podcast. To hear the full episode and get access to exclusive benefits, head over to patreon.com/thecannonpod and sign up for just £3 a month.
Hey, mate, how are you feeling about the Community Shield? And we'll talk about City in general, because their business has probably been the most peculiar business after a treble-winning team that I have seen. And not just a treble-winning team, because there's not been many of them, but a successful team in general. Typically, you've got teams that would want to renew, refresh, but I'll ask you firstly, the Community Shield, how do you see it going? And is there pressure to win from the off? Does it set a message to your title rivals when you are playing them? Is it an opportunity to draw first blood? Is it that serious? Or is it, George, chill? It's just preseason.
If we win, it's massively serious. If we lose, don't worry about it. No, look, you know me. I'm generally pretty... I try and take the pressure off. I think, let's worry about it in April and May, and that's when we need to really worry about it. But there is a part of me that psychologically, just probably for ourselves, but also for the wider, I'm conscious of conflating the idea of fans will care about it, so who cares? It doesn't affect the players at all, really. They might read a comment or two, but it doesn't affect them. I'm thinking about the mood in the camp. And I don't want to put any pressure on it, but I think a comprehensive win or a really good performance, let's say, even if we don't win, a really good performance where we outplay them, what would you call it? Let's say a first half at the Emirates type performance.
Yeah, the FA Cup one.
Yeah, I was talking about the league as well. The first half of the Emirates game in the league, if we go out and put that performance in, even if we don't win, I think that could psychologically be really, really big. Because I think if you're an Arsenal player, you're probably sat there going, where are the question marks this season? 18 of the clubs in the Premier League, at home, we think we can beat them. I think we go into that game thinking we are the favourites. I'd say there's probably 3 away games, and I look at Old Trafford, I look at, other than City, I look at Old Trafford, I look at Anfield, and I possibly look at Stamford Bridge, but that's still more of a question mark, where we're going, still need to prove ourselves here. But there is 2 home and away games that where there's so many question marks over. And ultimately, meetings between clubs tell you about yourself. They do. And there will be all the problem is if we win 3-0 and say, well, City haven't reinvested, and they haven't got Guardiola in, and they've sold Mahrez, blah, blah, blah. We won't get our flowers. So I don't really care, though. What I do care about is, and not even from a tactical perspective, I just think a win and a good performance, even if it's not the finished article for this season, whatever that means, but even if it's not the main idea for this season, could be psychologically going into that first game, whenever it is in... When do we first play them? October, November? Whenever that first game is, going into that game, knowing we beat them then, just gives you that 3-5%. And look, when we're dealing with a game of fine margins, that could be huge. I don't want to over-index the Community Shield, but I'm also conscious of not just being that guy who's doesn't matter, it's pre-season or whatever. Ultimately, these guys want to win. These guys want to win. And if we know we can beat them, regardless of context, say we'd beat them in the FA Cup last season. Obviously, everyone says it's the FA Cup, who cares?
Yeah.
I think you do go into the games thinking, because I think our first league game was a few weeks later.
It was a few days after.
A few days after, right? I think you do go into it just thinking, okay, well, we know we can beat them. So now we go forward. It's reducing question marks. And I think the Community Shield can go some way to, maybe it takes the point off of the question mark. Do you know what I mean? It's something.
I'm totally with you, because you know what? I actually don't mind over-indexing this game. I think it's very important personally. And it's important because of the impact that City has had on our seasons, not just last season, but for me and previously. City with Pep have humiliated us. And
those 3-0s at the Emirates every year.
It's annoying, man. And and for me, from my perspective, I can't keep propping up Santi Cazorla and that performance for years and seeing that's reason why potentially we could win. It's not something that I enjoy. And I think that it does set a marker down. Look, I don't think that losing the game therefore means that the title's gone. It's not that far in. But one thing I do think is the fact that we haven't won against City, it means that any win is over-indexed in mentality. The psychological impact is over-indexed from the players in terms of, oh my God, we drew first blood. It's kind of like seeing the whole Rocky thing when you see that, Drago can actually be cut. That idea, it didn't win him the match, but it did go on and have an impact to the overall tide of the match. And, that swung it. And I feel as though any win against City, any opportunity to face them is going to be big for this team that are looking to knock them off their perch. And we are hoping that we have, I keep referencing this Detroit Pistons moment, where we do kind of beat the bully. And we have to, at some point, exert our game over them. Now, there's an opportunity to do that in the league, but I do feel like having it done for a trophy, by the way, it's something that Pep won't like. These managers, they rely on margins, by the way, and just the idea that I
do we
want
risk
a trophy,
angering Pep? Ooh.
And that's the reason we lost against Liverpool, because we angered Klopp. But beyond the narrative, I do think it's important. And for me, look, it is a trophy. I don't care how little or how high that the trophy is. It's something that I'm very excited about wanting to win. We have an excellent record, by the way, in Community Shields. Ironically, if we look at the history and the precedent behind it, we win most of the Community Shields that we're involved with. So
and then whoever we beat usually goes on to win the league. I just want to say very quickly though as well, and the reason I do possibly want to maybe I do want to over-under it. I want us to win. Is that too much to ask? I want us to win. I'm a fan. I want us to win, of course. Annoyingly, I'll be on a flight, by the way, when it's going on. But I just wanted to say that ultimately there's going to be this media narrative next season around Arsenal and Man City. There is going to be that. So just to have that in the bag, they won the Community Shield in that thing is probably the softest of softest factors, but it's just useful for me, certainly as a fan, just knowing, okay, we did do it. But also, we haven't discussed this, their business so far, they are not prepared. They're in a position where they're going through a squad evolution. And, this is something Pep does every single summer. He tries to refresh. He tries to bring a new energy into the, he brought Haaland in or whatever.
Do you think it's even worse, though? It's a supplement, because I think you're going to answer the question. But do you even think it's worse than normal years? Because I look at kind of the players that they're losing, right? Riyad Mahrez, Bernardo Silva, rumored at least. But then you go back and you look at Gundogan. These are big players. It's not even just players that they've lost, one or two. Don't you think that there's a certain leadership profile that is a transition within that even City team? It looks like not just a refresh, but a rebuild. Yeah.
To use your boxing analogy, you've got a rookie and you've got the heavyweight champion of the world. Heavyweight champion of the world's injured and is coming back from injury, and they're having a spar, right?
Yeah.
If the rookie knocks him out, of course, the narrative, is well, he's injured, it's a spar, doesn't matter, let's wait till the real game. But you don't think that heavyweight's thinking, do you know what I mean? That he did get me. So there it just places a seed of doubt, mate. And the I know so little about boxing. I was flying by the seat of my pants there. Heavyweight was about the extent of it. But we are in a position where we've got our business done early. We may not have found the game model that's exactly right, but who says that we'll have a specific one? We know, as you mentioned earlier, we'll have our principles, we'll have our way of playing, and maybe that will change in terms of the personnel.
Yeah.
So who knows? We don't know, as we were mentioning before. So why not go out there and say, no, we've gone out and done our business. We have improved ×3 in terms of quality with Jurrien Timber, Kai Havertz, and Declan Rice, and have lost nothing. We have objectively improved. They have objectively regressed, just in personnel, right? Mm-hmm. Unless you're telling me that Kovacic covers up for Gundogan and Riyad Mahrez, right? And I don't think it does. So, I just think it's an opportunity.
Thanks for checking out the Cannon Podcast. To get full episodes and access to exclusive benefits, head over to patreon.com/thecannonpod and sign up for just £3 a month.